to say. Tell me why my tombstone is blank. 'Cause I'm not the one who won't try. I'm not letting life pass me by. Tell me when the days are less gray. Tell me where is the road to less pain. How many days before I decay? It's getting so hard to get by. Where are all my trophies in life? And he hated the way he was dying, but the moment he turned on the light, he became what he dreamt of at night when he was young and hungry for life.
Set to sail to a place I can't say. Live a life worthy of chase. The time is today. New blood in my veins. I won't be the joker in life, playing the part I don't like. And he hated the way he was dying, but the moment he turned on the light, he became what he dreamt of at night when he was young and hungry for life. And he hated the way he was dying, but the moment he turned on the light, he became what he dreamt of at night when he was young and hungry for life. Yeah.
And he hated the way he was dying, but the moment he turned on the light, he became what he dreamt of at night when he was young and hungry for life. 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 Young and hungry for life.
inside the body, organs rubbing, slowly rotting. Excruciating tremors, never will quit. Killing technology, brain mental killing. Voice fades, toxic gas, catastrophic killing. Pressure building in the brain, human deranged. Reanimated, complete monster, all life drained. Infatuation with torturation, senses. Grotesque mental incubation. Salt and embodiment, complete torture, the state cement. Decrepit abortion is a must. Bone dry carcass ready to flush.
It, bro. It's Sunday, bro. It's Sunday. What is the venue doing open on a Sunday night for TNA? I don't know, man. I decided to open the venue, and I decided we're going live tonight for TNA Bound For Glory. Why? Because I had to represent the #2 promotion in North America. Oh, man. And I had to watch my guy Mika Santana win the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And what a moment it was. I don't know, man. With my inner feeling, I feel like TNA may be moving to Wednesday nights, bro. I might have to find a new show to cover because the other show on Wednesday night isn't as hot as what we saw tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to the... I was going to say the beer garden. I can't. It's a fucking nor'easter here. We're going to the venue inside my mother's basement. And on this Sunday night, I want to know, in celebration of Mika Santana being the face of TNA, I want to know, what the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your TNA Bound For Glory 2025 post show. I am your host, JD from New York. As always, coming to you live from the OTS venue inside my mother's basement. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Sunday evenings, wherever you may be. I know, man, it's weird to see me during a TNA show. In all seriousness, I wasn't really planning on going live. I was planning on watching the show and ordering the show because I wanted to see Mika Santana win the TNA Championship. We'll get to that in a second. I didn't have any plans to go live. I had to do a little bit of research on how everything got to where we were tonight for Bound for Glory, just so that I could be prepared for the show, so I knew what I was talking about. But I felt like there was going to be something big on this show tonight. I felt like there was going to be some newsworthy moments coming off this show. And I'm glad I watched, and I'm glad I'm sitting with you guys tonight. I know TNA isn't really our forte. I know I don't really cover TNA. I haven't really sat down with you guys to cover the TNA NXT showdown. TakeOver was right there, bro. Didn't really sit down with you guys to cover that. You know, I do think it's a little cringy I do think it's a little forced. It's not. It doesn't really feel like, you know, a showdown or a takeover, or it's just a mix mash of rosters, and none of that stuff really interests me at all. It doesn't. I'm glad that I'm covering this show tonight, man. There was a lot of great moments on tonight's show. There's a lot of stuff that I'd really like to talk about, and right off the bat, I thought tonight's show was very good. The last show that I ordered was Slammiversary. And I thought, what was that? That was the show that happened at the UBS Arena here in New York City. I actually hung around the venue that afternoon for a little bit, and I met up with a couple of buddies. We had a couple of cocktails over in the vicinity of the UBS, and I came home to watch the show. I felt disappointed. I felt like my money wasn't really spent well following Slammiversary. And a lot of that had to do with Mike Santana not winning the World Championship in a triple threat match that included Trick Williams and Joe Hendry. I do not feel that way tonight. I feel like I very much got my $40 worth. I thought tonight was a very good show. It was a newsworthy show. It was an emotional show in some aspects, obviously with Santana winning the TNA World Championship and then the Dudleys retiring and emotionally handing their ring boots to both Matt and Jeff Hardy. I want to start with Mike Santana. Because I know a lot of people still to this day do not know about Mike Santana. And I've been singing Mike Santana's praises ever since he's gotten back from his devastating knee injury. And he's come back better than ever. I remember in the early discussions with House of Glory, I remember Brian XL coming up to me in Solid Monster, and Brian's idea was to put the HOG World Championship on Mike Santana. We both looked at Brian, and then we both looked at each other. And in a unanimous vote of yes, it was a decision that, honestly, and I've told Brian this quite a few times one-on-one, it was probably the best creative decision that Brian XL has made for House of Glory since the company has started. And I mean that wholeheartedly. I remember sitting on the call for the majority of Mike Santana's reign. He had matches with everybody all over the world. He had a match that a lot of people don't even realize took place. Last year, they gave him his own show. They gave him Mike Santana's Puerto Rican Weekend. In the main event of that show, it was Mike Santana defending the HOG World Championship against the Amazing Red. And if that match wasn't on anybody's top 10 list for 2024, then you made a huge mistake. Not only was it one of the best matches that I personally ever seen live in person, I think after 8 years of doing commentary for House of Glory, it is the best match that I've ever called. And I think Jason says the same thing. It was at that point we knew Mike Santana has reached a level that not many people reach in this business. Mike Santana has been very open about how special his father was to him and how much his father meant to him. Mike Santana, every single time he posts something on social media, you see how grateful he is to be in the position that he is. You see how much he loves his family and how much his family means to him. How much his fans mean to him. He's been open and honest about his addictions, which a lot of people might not know. And I'm glad before he actually, and he will be a WWE champion. Mark my words. Before he hits it to the big time, I am very grateful that I had an opportunity to express how grateful I am for him. Because when he shares a story like that, it is easy to relate with somebody like that and be in their corner as a fan. And Mike Santana being open and honest about his addictions made it very easy for me to express to him the addictions that I've had to go through in regards to my parents. And I'm grateful that I actually had the opportunity to catch his ear for just a couple of minutes to tell him thank you. We've seen this man go from the heights of tag team wrestling in LAX, putting on some of the best matches that you will ever see in TNA history. With the Lucha Brothers, LAX was tremendous. Their war was tremendous. I don't think we've seen a tag team war since them in pro wrestling that was as revered and as admired. The only other thing I could really think of is FTR and the Briscoes, which was tremendous. He got injured. LAX went to AEW. They never really amounted to anything. He got injured. And it took 14 months of this man's career. He went from LAX, the Jericho Appreciation Society, or whatever, the Inner Circle. He went from the Inner Circle to basically a background player in AEW. You thought that with LAX and AEW that it would be a shoo-in as them being the best tag team in AEW. I mean, holy shit, man. You got the Lucha Brothers and you got Santana and Ortiz on the same roster. And how do you drop the ball there? How do you drop the ball there? He got injured. He went through his reconstruction. He came back looking better than he's ever looked in his entire life. That's when Brian XL decided to showcase him and build House of Glory around him for the next 2 years. He wasn't doing anything in AEW. And before anybody starts claiming Tony Khan fumbled, Tony Khan didn't fumble. He never handed the ball off to Santana for Tony to fumble it. So you can't say that Tony fumbled. Tony just didn't do anything. Tony has nothing to do with Santana's success. It's actually a sin to even include Tony Khan and anything Mike Santana has done from his days in AEW to the time he left AEW. It's actually a disrespect to Mike Santana. Mike Santana is where he is today because of Mike Santana. He has nothing to do with Tony Khan, and Tony Khan has nothing to do with Mike Santana. So cut the shit. Tony Khan would be so lucky to have somebody at this stage like this Mike Santana on the AEW roster. But he doesn't. Because he's a fucking hack. For 2 years, this man held the House of Glory World Championship. Matches all over New York City with that championship. Then he goes to TNA, starts slowly integrating himself into the TNA roster, into TNA television. I knew at that point that we'd start to see less and less of Mike Santana in House of Glory. And with the way things were going, I knew that they'd probably end up setting up Charles Mason as the world champion, which was the right decision. Because Mason's another one who has busted his ass and deserves all the success that has come his way. When Mike Santana lost the House of Glory World Championship, it was a no-doubter that he'd become the TNA World Champion. You started to see Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry fell off a little bit. That buzz died. There wasn't really anybody else. Nic Nemeth is fantastic, but Nic Nemeth is not a guy that you're going to center the entire company around. Like, Nic Nemeth is a tremendous talent. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. But he's not the guy for TNA. Joe Hendry, he was the world champion for a little bit. Trick Williams, the whole TNA NXT partnership. It's a great piece of business for both companies. NXT has a depleted roster, and they have access to TNA's roster, and TNA is using NXT and WWE to focus on getting a TV deal and get them more notoriety. Clearly, with over 7,000 people in the venue tonight, clearly the partnership is working. Mike Santana was always going to be that guy. It was a matter of when, not if. UBS Arena came around. I was very disappointed that they didn't crown him in New York City. I think that was the moment. I still think that was the moment. But I understood why that wasn't decided upon. And I said, I hope Lowell, Massachusetts, gives him the correct ovation and the correct respect when he wins the World Championship at Bound for Glory from Trick Williams. Did they? That's to be determined. It's a very subjective thing. I still would have chose New York. But he won the TNA World Championship, and all I can say is it could not have happened to a more deserving individual. I have been incredibly blessed and grateful to have a incredibly small footnote in that man's career. And it's something that I'm always going to cherish. I've watched that man go from nothing to an absolute fucking superstar in the span of 2.5 years. And I could not be more proud of anybody. Not only because he's from New York, but the fact that we've all physically seen and heard how hard he's worked to get where he is today. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. There's not a lot of people that I genuinely admire in this business. In some aspects, I hate this business because of how the business has, and its fans and the critics have kind of vilified me for whatever reason. But I still love pro wrestling. I don't really admire a lot of people in this sport. It's a very short list of people. But on that very short list of people, Mike Santana is absolutely near the top of that list. I'm incredibly proud of what he accomplished tonight, and it was the right decision to crown him as the face of TNA at their biggest show of the year. Now for the ugly. Because I'm always going to give you my upfront, brutal opinion and my honesty. TNA is going to be TNA. I'm not an avid TNA watcher, but I hear about all these stupid things creatively that TNA likes to go out there and do. I don't know why we need, first of all, I don't know why we needed two people to win the Call Your Shot Battle Royal earlier in the evening. Nic Nemeth and Frankie Kazaarian both were crowned dual winners of the Call Your Shot trophy. I didn't know how that was going to work. Are they both getting Call Your Shot title matches? Is it now whatever they decide upon going to be a triple threat match? Like, I didn't know how that was going to work. It's almost as if Tony Khan took the book for this battle royal. When Mike Santana hit spin the block on Trick Williams and won the TNA Championship, that should have been it. The moment, the celebration, the emotion with his daughter, that should have been it. Carlos Silva handing him the championship, that should have been it. He pinned Trick Williams. He wins the championship. It is now official. The bell rings, and all of a sudden, the lights go out, and we get fucking Nic Nemeth coming out with a fucking dollar store trophy. He stands in the aisleway. He calls his shot. Ezekiel comes on out. He smashes Nemeth over the head with a guitar. Frankie Kazaarian's in the ring. He's calling his shot, but he can't call his shot because the trophy's in the aisleway because Nic Nemeth had the fucking trophy. He wants to cash in the trophy to get a championship opportunity and get one over on Mike Santana. Mike Santana takes him out with a spin the block, And then the celebration begins. This man waited his entire life to win the TNA World Championship and be crowned the face of this fucking company. And then you got to go through fucking hoops to get Nemeth out there, and then Elias is out there, and then Frankie Kazaarian's out there. Why can't you people just give me the fucking moment that we all came for? Have him beat Trick Williams, crown him the new champion, let him celebrate emotionally with his daughter, and go off the air with the new face of the company. Why can't this fucking comedy show wait till Thursday when they tape TV? Way to kill a moment. Way to kill a moment. And what you people don't understand about me is a moment like that, you get once. You get once. You took away his one moment and you muddied it up with fucking overbooking that didn't need to take place. Is it a big deal? No, but I'm going to complain about it because I didn't like it. And it's my fucking show, and I'm going to complain about what I like and what I don't like. None of it should have happened. In that moment, you should not waste that moment, and additionally, you should not tease that you're going to take the belt off of him after he just fucking won it and went through the match that he went through with Trick Williams. The people that run these companies are fucking thick-headed, man. They don't think, let's do more, let's do more, let's do more. Simple is best. Simple is best. Mike Santana is the TNA World Champion. Right man won. Nobody in this business deserves it at this moment more than him. And when I tell you, a lot of people, I've said it on commentary every single fucking match. I'm going to say it again here tonight. Hopefully it sticks. Stop sleeping on Mike Santana. A lot of people still don't know. A lot of people are still not awake to Mike Santana. Hopefully now you start to open your eyes and see what's right in front of you. There's one thing that this business is missing, and it's missing a genuine individual. It's missing a genuine character, a fucking person who presents himself as he is. He's not playing a character. He's not trying to overdo it. He's not trying to embellish. The business is filled with fakes. The business is filled with fucking selfish entities. The business is lucky to have somebody like Mike Santana, because what you see is what you get. And it's never going to change. This is only the beginning for Mike Santana. TNA World Champion, I mark my words. Mark my words. When this era of Mike Santana is over, he will be a WWE or a World Heavyweight Champion in WWE. Mark my words. They're always looking for that next big Puerto Rican star. You got it right in front of you. And if you don't see it, you better fucking start opening your eyes, because he's right there. I don't want to jump too much into what we saw. I want to save it for when we talk about the actual show. The Dudleys and the Hardys. I know a lot of people moaned and groaned when this match was announced. The Hardys just recently won the NXT Tag Team Championships from Dark State at Showdown. And those titles were now on the line. It was a TNA and NXT Tag Team Championship match with the Dudleys. This will serve as not only the last match in the Hardy-Dudley era of tag team wrestling, but this was the last match for the Dudleys, win or lose. It was over. Devon worked his ass off to get back into shape to make this match happen. He did not want to have his retirement match. He did not want to have his last match on a rinky-dink funkin' indie mud show. He wanted it to happen with a major promotion, and he wanted it to happen against the Hardys. And I know a lot of people are going to look at this match and say, the ending sucked and this and that. I'll go over exactly what I saw from my point of view, and I didn't mind the ending. The ending was very symbolic. The ending was very story-driven. And I actually very much enjoyed the ending. What I didn't enjoy is Jeff Hardy jumping off a fucking ladder and almost breaking his neck. I don't know why 25 years later we still need the Hardys to do these moves. We're very lucky to have the Hardys in this capacity in 2025. I'd like to keep it that way. I don't want to see two teams retire. It's bad enough we're getting John Cena this year, AJ Styles next year, the Dudleys tonight. We don't need to add the Hardys to that list so soon. They'll have their moment in the sun. We'll talk about that. Javon Evans. Javon Evans and Leon Slater, man. When I tell you that these guys at 21 years old might possibly have had the best wrestling match of 2025. Some of you may look at me like I got six heads. This match was fucking incredible. Incredible. Brian Alvarez put out a tweet, and let me see if I could find it. Brian Alvarez, let me read you this. Brian Alvarez said, Javon Evans and Leon Slater aren't the future. They are the right now. The problem is a bunch of old people in wrestling taking advantage of this bullshit that they are the future or they are only 21 line so as to not treat them like the actual main eventers they should be now. We really need to start having a discussion about the way the current landscape of pro wrestling is and why we're waiting because the old heads are the only ones that know what's best. Pro wrestling needs something. If these guys aren't that something, I don't know what the fuck is. Unbelievable match that went 20 minutes, only for TNA, or whoever booked this fucking ending. It might have had something to do with Shawn Michaels, for all we fucking know. Whoever booked this ending made a fucking mistake. Creative malpractice. I don't know how you give me an ending like that. I know why they did it. Trust me, I know why they did it. But at the same time, I don't know why they did it. You don't do an ending like you did tonight in that match, especially after you restarted the match and got everybody excited, only to then let everybody down for a second time. It might possibly be my favorite match of 2025. And there are a couple of bangers on that list. TNA Bound For Glory was a very fun show, well worth my 4 hours and well worth my $40 to watch it on the TNA Plus app. Was it a perfect show? Of course it wasn't. There isn't any perfect show. A perfect show doesn't exist. It doesn't. Unless you're TakeOver New York. Gotta rep my black and gold, bro. It wasn't a perfect show. The first half of the show was largely boring, in my opinion. The second half of the show blew away the first half of the show. And we're going to go over this tonight. I thank you guys for joining me here on this Sunday night. It is TNA Bound For Glory 2025 right here on Off the Script. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Go check out all the great content on the channel. There's plenty of it. I have been uploading every day since Monday. We were live for Raw. Tuesday, we did Title Tuesday for AEW. Wednesday, Solid Monster and I were preempted. We did Tuesday Night Titans on Wednesday. We were the Wednesday Night Titans for 1 week only. Thursday, we uploaded. Friday, we went live. Saturday, we uploaded. Sunday night, we're live. Tomorrow, Raw starts at 8 a.m. I will not be watching wrestling at 8 a.m. again. I will not. Saturday, we were live. Never mind uploaded. We were live for Crown Jewel on Saturday. Tonight, we're live for TNA. I'm not watching Monday Night Raw at 8 a.m. I will be watching it at normal time at 8 p.m. And I will be going live at 11 p.m. like normal. I'd like to have my Mondays as normal as I can. I don't like these obscure international shows. I don't. I hate them. And nobody's going to be watching because A, you're probably going to be going to work. B, some of you just don't care. And who wants to watch anybody at 8 a.m.? Only the grifting reactors are going to be reacting to 8 a.m. fucking pro wrestling so they could manipulate the TikTok algorithms. Nobody wants to watch pro wrestling, especially a fucking geek on YouTube talking or reacting to pro wrestling. So that's the plan. So go check all that stuff out. Hit that thumbs up. Modest goal of 750 likes. Tonight we're sponsored by my great friends over at Rex MD. We'll talk about them a little bit later on in the show. And if you guys are watching me after the fact, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of TNA Bound for Glory. What was your favorite match of the entire show? Obviously, I think a lot of people are going to land on Javon Evans and Leon Slater, but after the match that they had, I wouldn't be surprised. But thank you guys for joining me here on this TNA Bound for Glory post-show. As we kick things off here, we will start at the top. I did not watch the pre-show, by the way. I did not watch the pre-show. I know Mickie James was inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame. We love Mickie James. I did not watch any of the pre-show festivities, but we'll pick it up here at the top of the actual show. Steve Maclin challenged Frankie Kazaarian for the TNA International Championship. I'm a Steve Maclin guy. I am. I think Maclin is very underrated. I do. I think Macklin's got that Sheamus vibe about him. He doesn't put on bad matches, and he's just a fucking brute. He really is. So I'm a Steve Maclin guy. Frankie Kazaarian, you know, I'm glad that he left AEW when he did, and I'm glad he found his home back in TNA, and I'm glad that he is happy, first and foremost. Because I know over in AEW, he wasn't really going to amount to anything as they were moving in a completely different direction. He landed over in TNA, and it probably was the best career move for him at that point. So this one is for the International Championship. At Victory Road, Frankie Kazaarian defeated Steve Maclin to win the TNA International Championship. That was due to interference from El Macias from AAA. The following week, Santino Marella informed Kazaarian that Maclin had invoked his rematch clause and he would be getting his title match at Bound for Glory, which is where we are here with this. Just a little backstory there for you guys here. This match went 8 minutes. Really not much to it. Macklin's mother was in the front row. She was very animated. She was very animated, throwing the fingers at Frankie Kazaarian, which is always great to see. I enjoy a nice middle finger every now and then. Fuck you, man. It's great. So, the Anthem and the Marines led right into Steve Maclin's ring entrance here for the opening match. And Maclin started off against Kazaarian. Kazaarian caught Maclin with a leg drop, sunset bomb out to the floor. Kazaarian then sent Maclin into the steel stairs, and he got in Steve Maclin's mother's face. She was not having any of it, yelling at him. He was provoking her. Kazaarian offered Mama Maclin a free shot. She ended up giving him the double middle finger. Great to see. Maclin jumped Kazaarian, tossed him back into the ring. Maclin nailed Kazaarian with a Luthez press. He then escaped a chicken wing attempt and caught Kazaarian with an Olympic slam. Maclin then hung Kazaarian into the ropes for a shoulder block. Kazaarian tried to duck. Maclin went for a chicken wing again. Kazaarian went into a cradle, got caught using the rope, and the referee stopped her count. Saw that Kazaarian wanted to cheat with the leverage pin. Kazaarian tried for a springboard, but Maclin pulled him into a Boston Crab. So Kazaarian he's up now and he pays homage because everybody in the comments section of my Crown Jewel post show last night, I called the move that I think, who did it? AJ? AJ did a dead eye. Now, we all know that AJ has nothing to do with Adam Hangman Page. I called it what I know it as a dead eye. So everybody's in the comments section telling me that it's fade to black. He's paying homage to Frankie Kazaarian. That's his move. It's a dead eye, but he calls it the fade to black, which is one of my favorite Metallica songs of all time. Not my favorite. My favorite Metallica song is The Four Horsemen. Second would be Battery. Third would be Fight Fire with Fire. And Metallica is not the greatest thrash band of all time. The greatest thrash band of all time is early 90s, late 80s Sepultura and Testament. Just for you metalheads out there. Testament's got a new album, by the way. Fantastic. A little mix of everything. Don't get me started on music, bro. I could talk all day. So he goes for Kazaarian. He goes for a Pele kick. He pays homage back to AJ Styles. So it's nice to see going back and forth between the two. He went for Angel's Wings. He got a near fall since stealing, everybody's moves is the hot thing to do here. Kazaarian tried to go for an avalanche fade to black, but Maclin broke that up by biting Kazaarian. Kazaarian dodged a top rope headbutt, caught Maclin with a cutter for a near fall. Kazaarian hung Maclin upside down for a running shoulder block. Maclin escaped, hung Kazaarian up, hit him with a shoulder block. Maclin hit the KIA, and he got the 1, 2, 3 to regain the International Championship. Now, I didn't know TNA had an International Championship. You would think that, or I at least hope, that they're making it more valuable. At least TNA has their International Championship being defended. AEW had to absolve the International Championship into the Unified Championship, or the Continental Championship into the International Championship, and now we got this Unified Championship. And then they still end up holding 3 belts anyway. It's like, why did you make this new belt, but yet you want to have this guy carry around 3 titles? Isn't the whole purpose of creating a brand new championship, isn't the whole purpose is to get rid of those championships? I don't know. I'm not the boss. I don't make those decisions. Frankie Kazaarian loses. Steve Maclin wins. He went over to kiss his mother at the end of the match. 8 minutes. Decent open. Really nothing more I need to add there. Brian says, what about Exodus? I love Exodus. I think Exodus is fantastic. Exodus' best album is Tempo of the Damned. Don't at me. I love Testament. Or Exodus, but I love Testament. Can't get any better than Chuck Billy, Alex Skolnick, and Eric Pearson, bro. Cannot. So that was the opening match. We go from that to Tessa Blanchard. She's out there with Victoria Crawford. And she went one-on-one with Gia Miller. Now, I thought that this would have happened already. Now, I don't watch TNA programming, but the reason why this match started, or the feud rather started, is because Tessa attacked Gia Miller at the end of her match with Indi Hartwell at Slammiversary. She got upset, and she took her anger out on Gia Miller at the end of their match. So I don't really know why we waited so long to get this match underway. Tessa's a weird one because a lot of people obviously realize how great of a pro wrestler she is. But I don't think people are ready to embrace Tessa Blanchard yet. I don't. Some people may never be there. Now, I'm willing to forgive, and I think people should be ready to forgive. I think she's doing some really good work. She's too good to just sit idly by and not be in the business. You either like her or you don't. So she returned in December, and she's made a habit of threatening Gia Miller. Now, the tension between the two women, like I said, happened after Slammiversary, where Blanchard lost to Indi Hartwell. She took her anger out on Gia Miller after Gia Miller tried to interview Tessa immediately after the match was over. She was attacked by Blanchard and Victoria Crawford. So Blanchard would be suspended after that. Now, I thought that she would end up on NXT television. I thought she'd leave one company and that would be her way into the WWE via NXT because she got suspended by Santino Marella from TNA. It was only a few weeks. Miller, she would be off TV selling the attack at Slammiversary. And then Gabby Laspisa took over the reporting duties for Gia Miller. She used to work on Busted Open Radio. I think she works with the coach now in his podcast network. So she took over the reporting duties. And Gia Miller returned, threatening to kill Tessa Blanchard if she ever put her hands on her again. Now, those are some strong words. Blanchard's suspension was lifted by Santino Marella at the request of Gia Miller. And at Victory Road, there was a backstage exclusive where Blanchard and Crawford laid out Miller and her friend Jody Threat. So Miller then revealed that she had lifted Blanchard's suspension on condition that if she attacked her again, she would be free to make good on her words against Tessa. Miller would then go on to announce that she would face Blanchard at Bound for Glory. And this was her proper TNA in-ring debut as a performer. So we got this match. It went about 6 minutes or so. Miller came out with a lot of intensity here. Blanchard came out very cocky, strutting around, wearing the fancy sunglasses, posing, and almost coming off like she didn't give a shit about this match whatsoever. Blanchard takes Miller, applies a headlock. Blanchard quickly escaped. She then turns her back, and Miller got a quick cradle on her for another near fall. So Blanchard snapped Miller's neck against the ropes. Blanchard then pressed Miller's face into the steel steps, which is very reminiscent of what she did to her at Slammiversary, which got this entire thing started. Then suplexed her on the steps. Blanchard then beat Miller in front of her family, which was great. Like her mother was there, her father was there, her siblings were there. Tessa's really great at getting some heat. So beat her right up right in front of her family. So we go back into the ring after that. Blanchard distracted the referee so Crawford could get a shot in. Blanchard hit Miller with a super kick. Crawford then interfered in front of the referee, and then she got ejected. Blanchard dumped Crawford, or Gia Miller, out to the floor. Security tried to escort Crawford away, but Blanchard interfered. Jody Threat then came off the top rope because she was standing in Gia Miller's corner, and she took everybody out. She took the ladies out. She took the security out. She jumped off the top rope and did this great-looking seated senton off the top rope. Then Jody Threat chased Crawford to the back, so goodbye. The ladies that were in their corners, respectively, are no longer there. Now it's just one-on-one. Gia Miller made a comeback here. She had a Luthez press, monkey flipped Tessa out of the corner. She went for a crossbody that was clearly botched. She did not get the body in the crossbody. It was definitely a miscue there. Blanchard still sold. Gia Miller went for a cover, got a 2 count. Miller then walked into a boot, and Blanchard worked her over with some right hands in the corner. Now, Miller countered by locking up Blanchard's arms and hitting her with some headbutts. Miller tried to power Blanchard out of the corner with a power bomb, but Blanchard, wherever these were, I don't know where these were, if they were kind of tucked away in the turnbuckle pad, I don't know where they were. All of a sudden, in the power bomb position, Tessa starts punching Gia Miller up in a power bomb, and we start to see debris just falling all over the ring. We come to find out via the commentary team, who did a great job, by the way. Tom Hannafin and, what's his name? I forgot his fucking name. The other guy. Lost my train of thought. They did a great job tonight. We see quarters laying around. Matt Raywald. Man, I don't believe I'm working on a Sunday night, man. I'm out to lunch. We see quarters laying around all over the ring mat. I don't know where they were. She punched Gia Miller on the head with quarters, knocked her out, went for the cover, 1, 2, 3, and that was it. That was it. I didn't expect Gia Miller to win because Tessa was in a match with Indi, lost, got suspended, and they built this storyline over several weeks to take place tonight. So Tessa was the right winner here. As far as the match, I did not think that Gia Miller looked good at all. That's just my point of view. But they needed something for Tessa to do. They took her off TV. They sold the attack. They made it a personal vendetta from Gia Miller to Tessa Blanchard, and that was it. Again, nothing really to write home about. It was quick. It was to the point. Gia Miller didn't really look good, in my honest opinion. Tessa's great. And we move on to the next. We got a battle royal. A call your shot battle royal with 20 entrants in the battle royal. Now, this is basically, or I guess, TNA has their call the shot battle royal or gauntlet match. Call your shot gauntlet, which is basically a battle royal, but when you get to the final two last guys in the ring, it turns into a one-on-one match. It's basically what it is. It's like a casino gauntlet. AEW has their casino gauntlet. I would very much like to see AEW do the same thing with their gauntlet matches. But they got rid of the contract, and now apparently you got to give Tony Khan 1 week notice before you cash in your contract. He made this change because he wants to promote the match. Meanwhile, Adam Page, a few weeks ago in Pittsburgh, defended the fucking AEW World Championship in an open challenge against Lee Moriarty, a match that was made legitimately in half an hour before Dynamite went on the air. So what's the point of changing the rule if you're just going to give a World Championship match away like you did in Pittsburgh? I don't get it. I don't get it. Call your shot gauntlet match. This was to determine the next challenger for a championship of their choosing. So whoever won this thing could challenge for any championship of their choosing. There are women in this thing that could go after the Knockouts Championship. You could go after, I guess you could go after the X-Division Championship. You could go after the International Championship. The TNA World Championship. Now this is an intergender gauntlet match for championship opportunity. Any championship that you want. Winner's choice. This was announced at the end of September on TNA's weekly TV show. That same night, there was a qualifying battle royal that was held, with the winner earning a final entry into the gauntlet, while the last person eliminated would have to enter the gauntlet first. Mance Warner would eliminate Lei Ying Lee, who is the former Xia Li from WWE. And he earned the 20th spot, Mance Warner. Meaning Xia Li, or the former Xia Li, would go on to enter the number 1 spot. They also announced YouTube personality Brandon Does Everything in the Battle Royal. There was like a petition to get him into the Battle Royal. I'm more of a Chris Danger guy. I'll leave it at that. So we pick it up here with this Battle Royal. I thought this was the best match. When this match was over, I thought this was the best match of the night so far, up until this point. So 2 wrestlers enter. After 2 minutes, a wrestler every 60 seconds would enter the fray. Eliminations occur by pinfall until the final 2 wrestlers are left. Then it's one-on-one match to determine the winner. You could also be thrown over the top rope to be eliminated. Lei Ying Lee was the first entrant, followed by Mara Sade. She's the former Jakara Jackson from NXT. They didn't really do too much in there. I'm not really a big fan of intergender wrestling. I'm just going to put that out there right now. There are only a few instances where I actually do enjoy intergender wrestling. Other than that, I can't stand it. I thought having the women in this match was honestly the worst takeaway. Nobody expected them to win, and I didn't really care to see them in there. I thought it was basically comedy. So Mara Sade is in the match. After 2 minutes, teasing some eliminations, we get Ryan Nemeth. CM Punk's number one fan, Ryan Nemeth. And then Nic Nemeth. The real Nemeth. The only Nemeth that matters. He came out to a very good pop. Love Nic Nemeth. Sade dropped Nick with a super kick. Xia Li and Sade tried to dump Nic Nemeth, but Ryan made the save. Nick took both women out with a double clothesline. Cedric Alexander came in and he dumped both Nemeths with a German suplex. I think Cedric Alexander's TNA contract is up not too long after this. I am predicting that we see Cedric Alexander in All Elite Wrestling, and I think he helps the Hurt Syndicate once again beat the Demand. If you guys aren't aware, they booked the same match again that they just had it all out again for WrestleDream. Really great booking over there for St. Louis, huh? Which, by the way, TNA had over 7,000 people tonight. They almost doubled the attendance of WrestleDream, which is next Saturday, I believe. Believe that? TNA is outselling AEW pay-per-views now. What timeline are we living in, bro? So Cedric's out there. He came in and suplexed both Nemeths. Rich Swann, who's in the stable First Class with Casey Navarro and AJ Francis. He's up next. We love Rich Swann. Rich Swann is great. He had a great exchange with Cedric Alexander. Reminded me of their Cruiserweight Classic days. Still great, still athletic, still entertaining. Both guys are incredibly underrated. Swann dug into Alexander's face with an eye rake. He starts dancing. Alexander came back with a big boot. AJ Francis was in next. I was hoping he didn't last long. So Francis tossed Xia Li to the mat very hard. Francis then eliminated both Mara Sade and Xia Li. Francis then chokeslammed Rich Swann, who is his partner in First Class, and then dumped his own partner out to the floor, and he eliminated 3 people almost instantaneously. Travis Williams came in after winning a coin flip. Who? He's a part of the tag team Saint and Sinners, which sounds like a place I'd rather drink at, to be quite honest with you. So he's out there. He's Canadian. Go Blue Jays. The Nemeths teamed up against Williams while Alexander and Francis went at it in the corner. YouTube personality Brandon Does Everything was out next. Everybody wants to be a pro wrestler now. They take their WWE 2K counterparts, their created characters, and then all of a sudden want to go actually do the real thing. It's commendable. It's commendable. He's out there. He's a famous wrestling YouTuber. He's one of the more popular YouTubers. Yes, thank you. Thank you for telling me. Does anybody still play WWE 2K25 in a meaningful way? He did a spot with Francis, who he's feuded with in Sami Callihan's promotion, Revolver. He had a super kick from Nic Nemeth. Rascals, all of them, all 3 of them came out. So they came out there. BDE and the Rascals combined to super kick Francis out of the match. I will admit BDE came off the top rope with a nice-looking Javon Evans-like OG cutter. Danny Luna came out. She looked great. First time seeing Danny Luna out there. She suplexed both Rascals, or two of the three Rascals. Williams and Luna did spots while everyone else kind of laid around the ring. Eric Young came out. He came out at number 12. Williams almost eliminated Young with a clothesline, and they fought on the apron. Young low-blowed Williams, hit him with a pile driver on the apron, and dumped him out to the floor. Jake Something came in at number 13. A lot of people also sleep on Jake Something. If you don't know who Jake Something is, you should. I don't know what the company is waiting for to get behind him. It's tough because when you look like Jake Something and you are as intimidating and you wrestle like Jake Something, the guy is one of the more dynamic performers in the entire sport. Is the name silly? Sure. The name to me actually sounds cool. Jake Something. The name sounds cool to me. You watch the guy work and you're immediately blown away by how dynamic the guy is. I don't know what the guy's personality's like. Who is he? Is that enough? Do you feel like he needs to do more? There's something more that he needs to add. He just comes out in black tights and he looks like a fucking savage. Like, what else do you need to do to get to the next level? He hasn't gotten there yet. I'd like to see TNA get behind him. There's something there that I don't think a lot of people realize is there with Jake Something. So he's out at number 13. Something and Luna powerbombed two of the Rascals. They tried to dump Trey Miguel and Myron Reed, but then they skinned the cat back into the ring. Young smacked BDE and eliminated him. He can go back to making his kiddie WWE 2K25 videos and reading Reddit. Rosemary was out next. She came in at number 14. Miguel and Alexander were eliminated by Eric Young. My guy in this match was Hometown Man. It's the first time I saw Hometown Man. I was immediately a fan of Hometown Man. I think the gimmick is great. Is it a little indie mud show? Sure. Yes. It's basically TNA's version of Orange Cassidy. But I think the gimmick is brilliant. He's the hometown guy in every fucking city. Could show up in Atlanta, start wearing a Braves jersey. Show up in LA, wear a Dodgers jersey. Show up in Texas, wear a fucking Dallas Mavericks jersey. It's a great fucking gimmick. No matter where he is, he's the hometown guy. He came in with a UMass mascot, and he was wearing a Larry Bird jersey because they were in Lowell, Massachusetts, in the shadow of Boston. I like it. It's silly, it's stupid, but, I mean, it's pro wrestling. What the fuck do you want? So Jake Something tried to hold down the Hometown Man, but he ducked. Something got misted, and then he was eliminated. Rosemary accidentally misted Jake Something. I guess you could say he got a little something in his eyes, maybe. Zach Clayton came out. He came out with Guido from the ECW original faction, the full-blooded Italians, the Italianos. Zach Clayton, if you don't know, is JWoww from Jersey Shore. This is her husband. Why do I know this? Because I secretly watch Jersey Shore Family Vacation. Don't judge me, please. Don't judge me. I got to see what Solomonster says about this when I mention it on TNT. Danny Luna eliminated Rosemary. Hometown Man eliminated Luna. Jody Threat, who was out there in the corner of, what was her name? Gia Miller. Pardon me, I'm not up on TNA like I am on AEW and WWE. So she's out there, Jody Threat at number 17. She ran around the ring until Frankie Kazaarian floored her with a clothesline out of nowhere. She never got in the ring. So Frankie Kazaarian took her spot. Santino was out there to check on Jody Threat because she got blasted with a clothesline. So, of course, Santino Marella was number 18. He puts on the Cobra. He sent Kazarian through the ropes. He didn't go over the ropes, through the ropes. Santino was not in the match yet. He stepped into the ring. He was very careful upon doing so. And Nic Nemeth, as soon as he put both feet in the ring, clotheslines him out of the ring immediately. And I believe he, on this night, broke his all-time quickest elimination Royal Rumble record, if I'm not mistaken. So now he beat his own personal record. Whatever that was, he beat it tonight. It's going to be great when Santino Marella actually gets into a battle royal and lasts about 5 seconds. Matt Cardona. He's out at number 19. We'll get to Matt Cardona in just a second. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. JBZ with a $200 super chat. Jay Beasy says, I'm sorry, but having Brandon Does Everything in that ring should not have happened. And that goes for any YouTuber or personality in WWE, AEW, and TNA. It's become too much of a joke. Who knew playing WWE 2K Made for Children would get you in a wrestling company and a wrestling opportunity? Again, a complete joke. Well, I will say this. To undertake the task of training and becoming a pro wrestler, I probably would never do it because I'm not stupid, but I commend him for trying the art of pro wrestling. I don't know what his goals or aspirations are. I see things a little differently. I'm not a fan of his content or what he does. I think he's fake. I think everybody puts on this facade. I think everybody is basically out for themselves. And I don't really give a shit where these people go because none of these people would generate any excitement towards my success if this was me. So why am I going to share my excitement about something like this happening to him? I don't give a fuck. He was in a battle royal for 5 minutes, and he's going to use it to generate views and traction and momentum on YouTube or wherever the fuck he is. I don't care. I don't care. He lobbied to get into this match, and it's all a game. It's all a game. Who's got the bigger dick amongst content creators? That's all it is. He was in there. I commend him for doing the deed. He got eliminated. He's gone in 5 minutes. Is TNA going to give him a contract? No. No. We'll see what happens. But apparently he's got a thing going on with Chris Danger, which I think is kind of cool in Sami Callihan's promotion. Like, I'd like to see, honestly, I was expecting fucking Chris Denk in the Battle Royal. Chris Denk, to me, I feel like when I looked at him in my early days of content creation, I actually looked to him for inspiration because he started off in Call of Duty. Not a lot of people know that Denk started off playing Call of Duty. He was working for Machinima at the time, which was big. It was a big multi-channel network. Everybody was on Machinima. That was the goal. Content creator, get on Machinima's payroll. He was making fucking guides and Call of Duty commentaries. Then he transitioned to the WWE thing. We all saw that Call of Duty was dying. They went the way of the loot box. I started to play WWE 2K in the very, very early incarnation of my channel, and I actually looked at Denk as an inspiration. I did. A lot of people wanted to be him. And then he just kind of got lost in the shuffle all of a sudden. Now everybody else is doing WWE 2K content. Everybody basically bit off him and what his model was, and then everybody found more success than he did. He was actually the first content creator to get into the pro wrestling space as well and trained to be a pro wrestler, and everybody again followed his footsteps. Is anybody paying the proper respect to Chris Denk for basically inspiring all these fucking content creators to get into pro wrestling? Have they thanked Chris Denk publicly? I think they should. I genuinely feel like everybody owes Denka a fucking thank you. Honestly. Chris Danger was the first one to blow up. Chris Danger was the first one to train. Chris Danger was the first one to get in the ring. Chris Danger was the first one to have a match in DPW. And he did great. Then everybody else wants to follow in the footsteps and basically take the thunder away from everybody. It's a very selfish business. It's a very selfish business. Thank you, Denk, is what everybody should be saying. I expected him in the Battle Royal. I'm sad we did not see him. Apparently they're setting up a feud between him and BDE for Wrestling Revolver. Matt Cardona came out at number 19. Thank you, JBZ. I appreciate you guys. If you guys want to get in on the Super Chats, I would greatly appreciate it. It's the best way to support the show. How is Matt Cardona not signed to a company? Like, genuinely, how is Matt Cardona not signed to a company? He eliminated Clayton. Cardona pulled Guido into the ring, eliminated him. He wasn't even in the fucking match. Mance Warner came out at number 20, entered last with the Halloween party employee list out there. Zombies with Steph DeLander. So he's out there. The other Rascals were eliminated while Warner made his entrance. DeLander gave Warner a steel chair. Everyone just let Warner hit them with the steel chair until Cardona caught him from behind with a forearm. Eric Young tried to toss Hometown Man, but he skinned the cat to stay alive. They fought on the apron. Young eliminated the Hometown Man with a low blow. Cardona then took out Young, then tossed Warner out as well. That left Cardona alone with the Nemeths. The Nemeths double-teamed Cardona, who made his comeback. Cardona tossed Ryan over the ropes, but he stayed on the apron. Ryan Nemeth held Cardona open for a super kick from Nick, but Cardona ducked and Ryan was eliminated by his brother. So then it was basically Matt Cardona and Nic Nemeth. WWE, Dolph Ziggler and Zack Ryder here for the end. DeLander and Mance Warner distracted Cardona and Nic Nemeth dumped them over the top. The ring announcer then announced Cardona was eliminated. Frankie Kazaarian was never eliminated. He slid back into the ring. He was never eliminated by Santino. That meant Frankie Kazaarian and Nic Nemeth were the final two. I don't believe they gave this to Kazarian and not Cardona. Nick and Kazarian wrestled for a bit, and eventually both men did double pins on each other after a superplex. Santino announced that both men won, and we got a bullshit chant from Lowell, Massachusetts. Then we got some campy fucking stupid comedy where they're trying to hold the trophy, and they're both trying to hold the trophy at the same time. They're trying to exit the ring while still holding the trophy. They're trying to walk up the aisleway, still holding the trophy. We waited 30 minutes for this battle royal to end to crown one guy the call your shot winner. And then after 30 minutes, you don't give us a winner. You give us two winners. So how exactly does this work now? Do they both have call your shot contracts? There's only one trophy. I don't see two trophies. Does one call it and the other gets screwed out of a title shot, even though he's declared the winner? Is it going to be a situation where one of them has to sneak a contract cash in while the other's not looking, or when the other doesn't know? Does this mean that it's going to work as a team thing where they both have to decide when they want to cash it in, and whatever they decide upon ends up being a triple threat match? The rules weren't really detailed to us. They weren't. This is a shit ending. He should have went with one or the other. Now, Frankie Kazarian won this thing last year. I don't know why you would even give a thought to him winning for a second year in a row. There's nobody else on the fucking roster that you want to give a call your shot contract to. Now, we'll just give it right back to Nic Nemeth or Frankie Kazarian. How about someone new? Matt Cardona was right there. Speaking of which, I said before, I don't know why Matt Cardona is not signed with WWE. God forbid he goes to AEW. They'd be lucky to have him. I'd feel bad that he ended up over there. Because we know exactly what would happen. But when is WWE going to pick him up? His wife is over there having great success. When is Matt Cardona going to end up in WWE? Or maybe he realizes that you can't put a price on freedom. He's everywhere. He works TNA, he works the Indies. He's making a boatload of money. He's got a podcast. He's able to do signings left and right. He's probably making a fucking shit ton of money. Meanwhile, if he goes back to WWE, they are going to limit what he could do for himself. He's basically his own business. If you go back to WWE, you are WWE's business. And they'll probably take half of what he is doing now away from him. So I know a lot of people are asking, well, he's good enough. He looks great. He looks fucking great. And he is great. One of the hardest working fucking dudes you can see in this business. But maybe it's a decision that he has chosen for himself instead of, well, how come WWE didn't pick him up? How about Matt Cardona doesn't want to go to WWE? Makes for a good interview. It makes for a good answer in an interview. But maybe he's settled with, you can't put a price on freedom. Honestly. Another guy who is incredibly influential, and if you are an independent worker, that is someone that you should absolutely aspire to be like. Ending sucked here. Nic Nemeth and Kazaarian are both the call your shot winner. Kelani Jordan. She went one-on-one with Indi Hartwell. Now, I know this may draw the ire of some people. This is not the first time that I've said this. I don't see what the big deal is about Kelani Jordan. I don't really understand the appeal there. Could someone fill me in on what's so special about Kelani Jordan? Now, I've watched her on NXT. I've watched her wrestle Sol Ruka. I've watched her wrestle quite a few people on NXT. I know who she is and what she's about. Know how she works. Can someone fill me in on what's so special about Kelani Jordan? No? Yeah, I'm having that trouble too. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Kelani Jordan. Kelani Jordan, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. I don't. Again, I'm not a pro wrestler. All I could do is give you my opinion. Kelani Jordan looks like a manufactured female from the WWE Performance Center. She looks like everybody else. They just churn them out. She's got the very simplistic, same old ring gear that everybody has, and she's got no fucking personality. Who is she? What is she about? What does she do differently than everybody else? What makes her different compared to everybody else? Like, I could look at the rest of the roster. I'm being honest here. I could look at the rest of the... I know who Lola Vice is. Lola Vice has her own charisma and her own personality. I could look at Jada Parker, who I'm a big fan of, and she sets the tone there. She is as good as they come down there. She's different. Like, she lets you know immediately who she is. I'll even give Nikita Lyons some credit. You know who Nikita Lyons is and what Nikita Lyons is about. You know what Sol Ruka is about. You know what Zarya is about. You know what JC Jane is about. But what makes her special? Kelani Jordan. I don't know. Former North American champion. Now she's the TNA Knockouts champion. What makes her special? Same thing goes for Indi Hartwell. I'll give Indi a lot of credit. A lot of people jumped with their emotions when Indi got released from WWE. Everybody's like, how could they? They didn't give her any opportunities. They didn't even give her a chance. They did. They did give her a chance. Do you know what came of it? Nothing. She's just not that good. She's not. Again, another one. I don't see anything there. There's nothing there. Is this the current landscape of women's wrestling? I know there are some great performers in the business, but on the other side, you got just generic, straightforward, no character women. Now, Indi's got the fortunate opportunity where she could go and wrestle wherever she wants. So she has all the fucking opportunities she wants, literally right in front of her. But if you watch this show tonight and you watch this match go for 13 minutes, I didn't really see anything here that I would go back and watch and say, hey, man, this was a great match. This was a stinker. Felt like I was watching a match in slow motion. A match in slow motion between two women where I just don't see what others are seeing. There's nothing that resonates with me. Like we could watch an Io, an Asuka, a fucking Rhea Ripley, a Stephanie Vaquer, Bianca Belair, Tiffany Stratton. There's nothing there. What makes these women stand above the rest? They look like everybody else. Generic. Now, apparently, Indi Hartwell was a special guest referee here. There was a battle royal, and the final two would be competing for the vacant title later on. Hartwell served as the special guest referee. So Lei Ying Lee, Xia Li, and Kelani Jordan will be the two finalists from this battle royal. Now, the reason why they were fighting over the championship is because Trash by Elegance had to vacate the championship. Now, I don't know what's going on with her. Apparently, she retired. Nobody knows. Everything's being kept very hush-hush. So, Trash by Elegance had to vacate the championship. And it was Xia Li and Kelani Jordan, the two finalists. Kelani Jordan became the new Knockouts champion. And then it was announced that Jordan would defend the title against Indi Hartwell at Bound for Glory. That's how we got here. So, we go to the match. It goes 13 minutes. Again, nothing really stood out here. Both women did some near falls off cradles, dodging each other's offense early on. Kelani hung up Hartwell on the ropes, came off the ropes with a leg drop for a near fall. Jordan hit Hartwell in the back with some forearms, went for a suplex. Hartwell escaped and caught Jordan with a spine buster for a near fall. Hartwell hit Jordan with a boot. She went for another cover and got a 2 count. Hartwell stretched Jordan's back across her knees. Jordan fought back out of the corner with a clothesline. They did the boo yay punch spots. Jordan hit a cartwheel back elbow. Hartwell went for a DVD. Jordan escaped, hit a jawbreaker for a near fall. Jordan got on a half crab. Hartwell eventually kicked out to escape the half crab. Jordan came off the top rope with a crossbody. Hartwell rolled through, powered Jordan up. She turned that into a small package. Hartwell and Jordan struggled to figure out who would powerbomb who here. This was a very ugly spot. Eventually, Hartwell hit the move and planted Kelani with a powerbomb. Right after that, she went for a boot. Jordan caught it, hit a spinning kick. Kelani went up top for a frog splash. She got a 2. Jordan kept trying to get the pin off of that, and she pinned one after another. She tried to tire Indi out. Indi kept kicking out. Hartwell dropped to the floor. Jordan tried to follow, but Hartwell tripped her up. Hartwell hit Jordan with a boot back in the ring. Indi hit a top rope elbow for a near fall. Hartwell went for the Hurts Donut, which is her finish. Jordan countered that with a cradle. Hartwell caught Jordan with a Hurts Donut out of nowhere, but Jordan was too close to the ropes, which was ridiculous because Kelani was so close to the ropes that she could have reached out and touched the rope with her hand. Meanwhile, she rolls completely back and she tries to touch the rope with her foot to break the pinfall. Just reach for the rope. What made you want to touch the rope with your foot and not your hand? It looks so stupid. Hartwell went up top again. Jordan followed her up there. She tried for a Spanish fly, but Indi elbowed her down. Hartwell went for another top rope elbow. Jordan ducked. She then hit Hartwell with a split-legged moonsault, which she calls, what does she call that? I think she named it after RVD. Someone in the chat can fill me in on that. So she got that split-legged moonsault. It's basically Naomi's finish. 1, 2, 3. And Kelani Jordan retains the Knockouts Championship. After the match, Hartwell shook Jordan's hand. And that was it. Don't really know what else you guys want me to say. One of a kind, yes. That's the name of her move. One of a kind. RVD. Not very good. And up until this point, still, the Call Your Shot Battle Royal was the best match so far. The System. They defeated Order 4 in a hardcore war match. JD, what is hardcore war? It's basically war games without the double ring and without the cage. It's basically what it is. So we got people coming out there after 2 minutes, intervals. One guy from each team comes on out in rotation, coming out with different weapons until everybody is in the ring, and then the match is officially underway. I don't really care for plunder. So a lot of this I was like groaning and like, I see enough of this every fucking week, and here we are. More plunder, more blood, more garbage, more indie bullshit. It is what it is. But I will say, at the end of this, I actually had a very good time watching this. I thought this was I was sports entertained by watching this match. And I'm a big fan of Ali, and I think Moose is great. So I enjoyed myself here. I just don't really care for the plunder because we see it so often, it doesn't really do anything for me anymore. Now, as far as this match, we got this feud happening here. Ali, John Schuyler, and Jason Hotch of the Order 4 defeated Matt Cardona, Moose, and Brian Myers due to Tasha Steelz and their secret weapon, Agent Zero, who I'll get to in a second. They wiped out Alicia Edwards and Eddie Edwards, respectively. After this match on Impact back in August, Moose was restrained by Ali's Secret Service as Ali himself went for the kill on Moose. JDC, who is the former Fandango, later ran out to try and stop him. He was beaten down by Secret Agent Zero, who slammed JDC on the chair, put him out of action for a couple weeks. Ali would then go on to declare war with Moose and the System, vowing to make Order 4 the ruling force in TNA. 3 weeks later there on Impact, Ali tried to interfere in one of Moose's match with AJ Francis, accidentally struck Francis before being taken out, allowing Moose to get the win. Ali then defeated Myers in a singles match, which eventually led to an all-out brawl between Order 4 and the System. Santino Marella then declared the two factions would meet at Bound for Glory in the match that you just saw tonight, which is called Hardcore War. They even had advantage matches, like War Games. Ali defeated Moose to earn the person advantage for Order 4. It's a lot to be different in pro wrestling. A lot of ideas borrowed. This is basically War Games without the double ring and without the cage. But I did have a good time here. This was actually very entertaining. So Jason Hotch started out. He comes out with a trash can. Eddie Edwards, he came out there with his family. The Boston Red Sox mascot, Wally, was out there. He was out there with a kendo stick as well. So John Skyler comes out next with a steel chair. Hotch hit Edwards with a spear because the Order 4 have the advantage now. Choked him with his T-shirt. JDC came in next, who is the former Fandango. Came out with a New England Patriots football helmet. Edwards put the steel chair over Skyler's crotch, and JDC hit the chair with the football helmet, which made a very satisfying sound. JDC followed with great hands out to the floor with a dive. So Skyler came up busted open. JDC then pulls a John Moxley and pulled out a cheese grater from out under the ring, and he's using it to grate John Skyler's face, which is now all bloodied. Tasha Steelz comes out, more intergender garbage. Came in wearing a Yankees jersey and had a baseball bat for her choice of weapon. They all had to have different weapons, by the way. Skyler was a bloody mess, and fans in the front row were, they showed fans on camera. They all looked kind of disgusted. Alicia Edwards came out with her kendo stick because Tasha Steelz is out there. Now the other female, Eddie Edwards' wife, comes out there. Alicia Edwards, she came out with a kendo stick. Edwards cracked Steelz in the head. Edwards then tried to grab Alicia and caught a kendo stick right to the head. Edwards then pulled out a staple gun. He stapled John Skyler in the face. JDC stapled Hotch in the crotch. Yes, Hotch in the crotch. And Alicia stapled Steelz in the ass. Agent Zero. Secret Agent Zero was out next. He is the secret weapon of the Order 4. I thought this was fucking Big Cass for a second. This guy looks like a mirror image of Big Cass, but not as big. I was very impressed with Agent Zero. I don't know how you guys feel, but I was very impressed with Agent Zero. He looked great. Like, if you want to build Order 4 and build somebody within the Order 4 outside of Mustafa Ali, this is the guy. And he looks fucking great. This Agent Zero. He's out there. He press slammed Fandango and tossed Eddie Edwards into the ringside steps. Zero tossed the top half of the stairs at Eddie's head. He then looks at Brian Myers coming out next. He comes out without a weapon. Agent Zero didn't come out without a weapon either. Or he came out without a weapon. Myers tried to use one of the trash can lids that was around rings. I guess he wasn't creative enough to come up with a weapon. Zero just kind of put him down with a big boot. Zero then dumped Myers with a hanging tree slam on the trash can. Alicia rolled into the ring and found herself surrounded by the Order 4. Mustafa Ali was the last to come out, and he brought the sledgehammer with him. I wonder if that's symbolic for being terminated from WWE. You know, the guy who used to brand the sledgehammer as his personal weapon. Eddie Edwards saved his wife momentarily from an attack from Order 4. The great hands and Ali dropkicked JDC in the corner. Moose entered last for his team. He had a steel chain wrapped around his chest. That was his weapon of choice. Great hands came in for Moose in the aisleway and destroyed them. Ali tried to catch Moose with a dive, but he caught him and powerbombed him on the apron. Moose stood toe-to-toe with Agent Zero because they're the two biggest guys in the match. They were pretty even here. Zero was able to dump Moose to the floor, and all members of the Order 4 in the system brawled onto the floor, and Zero came over the top with a dive onto everybody, which looked very impressive. Tasha Steelz pulled out a kendo stick wrapped in barbed wire. Alicia Edwards dumped tacks into the ring. So this was Tony Khan's wet dream. This match was basically Tony Khan's wet dream, if I was to describe it in such a beautiful way. So there's tacks all over the ring now. Alicia Edwards hit Steel with the kendo stick to get rid of her. Alicia found herself alone in the ring now with Agent Zero, who gave her a slam onto the thumbtacks. Yes, more man-on-woman violence. You gotta love it. Not sure how this is going to look great in front of AEW or in front of TNA's new TV partners, but I'm not the one going for a new TV deal. Fandango and Myers went after Agent Zero with kendo sticks. No effect. He no-sold them both. Moose wrapped himself in the chain and he speared Agent Zero with the chain. Eddie tried to check on his wife. Ali hit him with a steel chair and dumped him. Ali then dumped more thumbtacks onto Alicia Edwards. And then he goes up top. He tries for the 450. Alicia rolled out of the way, and Ali took a 450 empty, hitting nobody but thumbtacks on the way down. I love Ali. He's fucking great. The shit that he does, man, half the time he don't even need to do it. He does it anyway. Unbelievable. Eddie Edwards came back, wrapped his knee in barbed wire. He leveled Ali with the Boston knee party. And that was it. The Boston knee party wrapped in barbed wire, 1, 2, 3, and the system defeat the Order 4 in a War Games that is not actually War Games. Hardcore war. I had fun here. Leon Slater. He went one-on-one with NXT's Javon Evans. Now, Leon Slater defended the X-Division Championship. He beat Moose at Slammiversary for it. Let's start there, number one. He then defended the title against Myron Reed of the Rascals at Victory Road. Santino Marella announced that after discussions with Ava, NXT General Manager Ava, he will defend the title against Javon Evans. That's basically where we are. This went 20 minutes. Not only was this the best match of the night, anybody that came after this was going to have a very difficult time to follow both of these men. Not only was this the match of the night, this was probably the match of the year. It's a very subjective thing, but this was fucking great. And Matt Raywald and Tom Hannafin, they did a phenomenal job at calling this match. Like, this is the type of match that makes my mouth water to be on commentary for. This was fucking... I can't even find the word to do it justice. This was incredible. Incredible. Let's take it from the top here. Crowd was crazy here. I mean, I don't know how you guys felt. This is something I should have mentioned in the beginning. The crowd here, for the first time all night, legitimately felt like a pro wrestling crowd. Like, I don't know what it was. Maybe they were bored with the first half of the show. Or maybe the TNA production is just that awful. Maybe they don't have the ring mic'd enough. Maybe they don't have the crowd mic'd enough. This did not sound like 7,000 people. The first time all night that they genuinely sounded like 7,000 people was this match here. Everybody was into this. Every single fucking person in that building, they sounded off for this match. TNA's production, wherever they go, whether they go to CW or they land on whatever network, A&E, I pray to God that their production is much better than what we got tonight. Seriously. Better cameras, better production, better sound. This was the first time all night, genuinely, that this crowd felt like a fucking 7,000 person crowd. They stood there for a little bit, kind of soaking it all in. The commentary team, and this is the younger audience, the younger pro wrestling audience. They label this a dream match. This is not a dream match. Like, people use the term dream match very loosely. Now, this is not a dream match. A dream match is like Kurt Angle and Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels and Eddie Guerrero, Shawn Michaels and The Rock. That's a dream match. I don't know how you label this a dream match. They're 21 years old. They will have their own dream matches when they reach the age in which you can finally label them in a dream match. 21 years old is not the proper time to label dream match. Stop using cool buzzwords for social media engagement. It's not a dream match. It's a match between two future pieces of their respective companies. That's it. So they soaked it in for a little bit. Both guys teased some big strikes. Slater caught Evans with a small package. Reversals, counters. Slater got in a situation where he shoved Evans hard. He backed against the ropes. Things went from respect to not really respectful very quickly. Slater caught Evans with a chop. Evans fired back. Javon Evans then sent Slater to the floor, followed with a tope. Slater shoved Evans off the ropes when he went for a springboard and then followed him out with a dive. So we get back into the ring. Slater hits a big crossbody for two. Slater he's got some big ups. But Javon Evans, man, it's like he's got like a fucking trampoline in his shoes. Like the height he gets is fucking absolutely unlike anything I've ever seen before. It's crazy. So he hits this big crossbody, Slater does, for a 2 count. Slater then hit some chops on Evans. And I like that they slowed the pace. They didn't go 1,000 miles an hour. Whoever produced this match deserves a raise. They slowed it down. They slowed the match to start. They didn't go too crazy hitting big moves. Then they start hitting some big moves. Then they slowed the match down a little bit, let shit breathe, built back up, and you could see it just kind of elevating and elevating and elevating. Evans ducked a kick, caught Evans with a step-up springboard Rana, and then a drop kick. Evans caught Slater with an over-the-ropes plancha, came back in the ring with a springboard clothesline, and he went for a cover on Slater, got a near fall. Evans hits a suplex, immediately kipped up. Evans ducked an enziguri. Slater hits a heel kick. Slater then comes back with a springboard back elbow. Slater then caught Evans with a flying boot, and he goes for a cover off the boot for a 2 count. Slater hit a slingshot cutter for a near fall. Evans went back up top. Slater blocked it, and then they start fighting on the apron. Evans tried a suplex. Slater escaped and tried for a slingshot cutter again, but this time Evans countered it into a spinning DDT that sent Slater across the ring. Evans then hit an out-of-the-ring springboard cutter, and man, when he jumped over the ropes to deliver the cutter on Slater, the way he came down on the apron, man, I don't know if it was his tailbone or what, man, but my God, you want to be on the injured list, then you land the way Javon Evans landed on the apron there. I legitimately thought he was finished. I don't understand why we constantly need to see these death-defying spots on the ring apron. It's the hardest part of the ring, you know. I wouldn't be shocked if he really is hurt the way he landed. Evans struggled to get back to his feet. Slater slid in. Evans came back off the top with a splash. The way he moved, it looked like he wasn't hurt, but I know that man was hurting. Evans then hit a second rope top rope splash across the ring. He only got a 2 count. Crowd was going crazy at this point. Slater caught Evans with a boot. Evans came back with a forearm. Slater hit another kick. Evans snatched Slater with a Rana. Cradle, 2 count. He then came off the ropes with a springboard right into a flying hangman's neck breaker. Fucking crazy from Slater. Both men struggled to get to their feet. They're exchanging strikes back and forth. Slater wore out Evans with some chops. He then left himself open for a chop from Evans. He's asking for a chop, so what does Evans do? Does he chop him? No, he just delivers another fucking cutter, which was fantastic. Love it. Another springboard cutter. He goes for the OG cutter, hits it. Slater kicked out of the 2. Evans went to the top. Slater caught him with an enziguri and followed him up top. They fought. Both guys jumped to the floor on opposite sides of the corner. I don't know what the fuck they were going for. It almost felt like they were going to put each other through a table. Or one of the announcer tables. So they fall to both sides of the ring. Slater tried for a springboard off the barricade. Evans shoved him into the crowd. Evans then hits a running dive over the barricade onto Slater. Evans jumps the rail. Slater followed, hitting his own dive over the barricade. And all of a sudden, we see the timekeeper ring the bell. 20 minutes. We didn't get any countdown. We didn't get the timekeeper or the ring announcer saying there's 5 minutes left, 5 minutes remaining, 2 minutes remaining, 60 seconds remaining. I didn't even know TNA had time limits. Now, for the OG TNA enthusiasts, the elitists, does TNA have time limits? I watched Slammiversary. I didn't get any fucking time limits between Leon Slater and Moose. They went 20 minutes. What are we doing with time limits in TNA for a title? I don't mind a time limit. I think time limits actually do work to forward some stories in a different way than normal. But I didn't realize that TNA had time limits. Crowd legitimately, I mean, you could not ask for a better crowd. The crowd was so into this. And you fucking popped the balloon and you shit all over this fucking crowd. You took their fun away. When that bell rang, Carlos Silva was sitting right there. He don't know what to fucking do. Crowd is chanting, bullshit, bullshit. Everybody booing. Like, why? Why would you do this? Santino's music hits. Santino comes out. Everybody cheers. They're going to address it right there. Normally, we have a certain amount of time for these pay-per-views. However, he's going to give them 5 more minutes. And when the bell rang to restart the match, my fucking God, the crowd was even hotter than they were before the time limit. Slater hits Evans with Utopia. Evans slides to the floor. Slater followed him with a dive over the post. Slater went to the top. Evans jumped up, pulled Slater down with a Spanish fly. He went for the cover. And then the lights go out. We don't even get anywhere close to 5 minutes. We got maybe 60 seconds. Lights go out. Dark State, this rebel faction in NXT, Dark State, run out. They gave Slater and Evans double team power bombs. Crowd is chanting, fuck these guys, fuck these guys. Match ended in a DQ or a draw as they attack both guys. No contest. So TNA let these guys go 20 minutes, disappoint the fans. Santino Marella comes out, gets everybody excited again, restarts the match. Everybody's losing their fucking minds again. Only for the lights to go out after 60 seconds, introduce Dark State, and then cause a no contest. Disappointing the fans once again. I don't know who thought this was a good ending. I get what they're going for. Here's another faction, just like we mentioned Kelani Jordan before. Here's another faction that I've watched for months on NXT television, and I simply have zero emotional connection to Dark State. Dark State is basically a poor man's version of The Shield with 2 extra members. That's all they are. Or better yet, not even The Shield. That's actually disrespecting The Shield. They basically are Retribution without Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon. It's basically what they are. You disappointed the fans in 22 minutes twice after what Javon Evans and Leon Slater gave everybody tonight, which was basically the best match of the fucking year. All to do what? Get heat on Dark State? Chat, can you genuinely tell me who the fuck gives a shit about Dark State? Dark State is one of the worst stables in all of pro wrestling. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck about any of them individually. They are cringe. Their entrance is fucking garbage. The people who run these promotions, I am so sick and tired of the non-finishes. I am so sick and tired of these pro wrestling promoters. Oh, we can't beat this guy. Oh, we can't beat that guy. We gotta protect our young talent. What exactly are you protecting, and from what are you protecting them from? They're 21 years old. What are you protecting them from? What does a loss mean for Javon Evans here? What? What does it mean? Is his career finished? Because you can't lose to the TNA X-Division champion who beat Moose. Leon Slater beat Moose for the championship. 2 days ago, he beat the Amazing Red. But he can't beat Javon Evans. Because we need to get heat on Dark State. Now, this would make sense if Dark State was the tag team champions. They're not. It would make sense if Javon Evans and Leon Slater got each other's respect, all of a sudden decided to team up and take on Dark State and win the NXT Tag Team Championships together. But Dark State doesn't even have the Tag Team Championships anymore. So what is the point? Stop giving us non-finish. One way to kill a fucking crowd. You have a match of the year candidate here, and you give me a non-finish to fuck not only both of them, but the fucking 7,000 in attendance for Dark State. I don't give a fuck what you do or who you are, man. You give word to that referee that you get an audible out into that ring for both of those guys, and you determine a fucking winner for this match. It's almost as if people don't want to fucking beat their young kids because they think it's going to do harm for them. Javon Evans takes nothing from this in a loss. Nothing. Nothing. All anybody was talking about was that he wrestled Sami Zayn a couple weeks ago on Friday Night SmackDown, and what a performance he gave with Sami Zayn. This was even better. Yet we got to protect him. From who? I don't understand how you can't get us a rematch if one of these guys loses here. Just run it back. God, this... Man, sometimes the people in charge are fucking clueless. This is one of those times. This is one of those times. None of this made sense. None of it. Unless you want to do Javon Evans and Leon Slater against the fucking Hardys, which I don't know how we get there. What was the point? They need to run this match back at Halloween Havoc. Slater Evans 2. You want a surefire way that you're going to get people to watch that show? Put these two guys in a match and let them go 20 minutes again. This was the best match of the night. And honestly, we've seen some banger matches this year. We have. I have to go look at the list. Right now, my match of the year is the triple threat match at WrestleMania 41 between CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. AJ Styles, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, and Seth Rollins just wrestled 2 fantastic matches this past Saturday at Crown Jewel. Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky, also definitely in my top 3 at Evolution. Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Io Sky. Triple threat match. WrestleMania 41, night 2. They opened that show. John Cena and Cody Rhodes main eventing SummerSlam. That's also another one. Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble in their ladder match. There's a couple of bangers on this list for this year. And then, I mean, I gotta go look at the AW list. I mean, They have some great matches over there. I got to go figure out what's what over there. But if I'm picking if I am picking a match of the year so far this year, this is probably my number one. This is probably my number one. And the thing is, you know, I didn't know who Leon Slater was before I watched Slammiversary. That was legitimately my first introduction to who he was and what he does. And to understand his story and where he come from and why he's in the business. Javon Evans, I've seen. I know what he's capable of. I know what he does. Yeah, I'm not the fucking biggest fan of Javon Evans, but man, I tell you, the kid is fucking special. 21 years old, bro. Like, if he's going to continue to do shit like that, and he's going to continue to wrestle, and I thank God he is in the right place to fucking hone his skills. I really do. Like, you don't need to go fucking do aerial move after aerial move and fucking big spot and risk your life with every fucking move you do. I'm thankful that both Leon Slater and Javon Evans are around people that are going to hone those tremendous skills and bring them out when it's truly necessary. Like, you saw the match legitimately level up as you were watching it. When the bell rang to restart the match, you saw exactly where they were. I mean, they went from fucking first speed all the way up to fifth speed. That's what makes a great wrestling, in my opinion. Starting slow, leveling up, telling a story, not doing too much, just show a little bit, slow it back down, and then fucking ramp up and just bring it up. Man, I tell you, there may not be anybody in the business right now as a prospect. There might not be anybody as promising and as exciting at this age. 21 is ridiculous, as Javon Evans. WWE's got the next kid there, man. I tell you that right now. This was tremendous in every sense of the word. Chris Bay, what a story he is. He came out, announced that TNA set a new attendance record of 7,794. Now, I don't really believe them. I think they embellished for sports entertainment. WrestleTix, as of yesterday, had TNA Bound For Glory just over 6,000 tickets. Now, is it possible from yesterday to today, before the bell rang for the first match, that they had over 1,000 tickets sold for 7,000? There's a possibility. They did some big-time marketing and big-time promotion for this show. It's definitely a possibility. But you know how WWE is. They want to give you the number. They want to break the record that they had at UBS because this is the biggest show of the year for them. And then they want to kind of rub it in AEW's face at the same time. Did they have almost 7,800 people in attendance? I'm going to call bullshit on that. I would say it's probably closer to 6,500, 6,600. WWE likes to add, you know, whether it's a number like this, 1,000. For their stadium shows, they like to embellish and add maybe 8, 9, 10,000 people to their number. It's kind of comedy. But Vince did it. Triple H does it. Tony's doing it because Tony lied about the all-in numbers. Oh, yeah, we had 30,000 people. Yeah, but we had them confirmed 21,000. Gee, where'd that other 9,000 come from, Tony? Hardys. They defended the tag team championships against the Dudleys, the NXT and TNA tag team titles. Now, this was announced at Slammiversary. So, everybody kind of rolled their eyes when this match was announced because, let's be honest, I don't know who really is clamoring for the Dudleys in 2025. But at Slammiversary, the Hardys won the tag team championships in a ladder match, and they were confronted by Bully Ray. Now, he congratulated them on their tag team title win, But at that same time, he would challenge the Hardys to face Team 3D one final time, him and Devon, at Bound for Glory. Hardys accepted. So, on the last episode in the month of September on Impact, the Hardys and Team 3D made this into a tables match with the TNA Tag Team Championships on the line. Bully Ray admitted that he and Devon were always bothered by the fact that they had lost to the Hardys in the very first tag team tables match at the Royal Rumble 25 years ago. So at the NXT TNA Showdown show this past Tuesday, the Hardys would defeat Dark State. It was Osiris Griffin and Dion Lennox of Dark State to win the Tag Team Championships. And then it was announced that this match would be dubbed One Final Table, and the NXT Tag Team Championships would also be on the line along with the TNA Tag Team Championships. So that's how we got here. For what this match was, this was good. I was not going to judge this based on, oh man, let me really be scientific about this. No, I knew what to expect, and we got what we got. I'm not going to sit here and fucking say, oh man, this shit sucks, and they should have did this, they should have did that. First of all, Devon worked vigorously with DDP Yoga to get back into ring shape. So this match could take place in October at Bound for Glory. So, shout out to him. Bully Ray, the Dudleys themselves are one of the greatest tag teams ever, if not the greatest tag team of all time. I don't know how you look at Bully Ray and not thank him for his contributions to the world of pro wrestling. Same thing with the Hardys. So the bell rang. People were chanting, ECW, ECW, this is awesome. They set up some tables in the aisleway. They brought out Spike Dudley. Spike Dudley made an appearance here. He gave them their signature Dudley glasses. Hardys come out. They brought a ladder and a steel chair with them. They set up a ladder in front of the tables that the Dudleys set up in the aisleway, which would come into play later in the match. Dudleys dumped Jeff to the floor and hit Matt with a 3D right away. Jeff tried to go at the Hardys 2-on-1. He tried for a whisper in the wind, but the Dudleys did their best. Samoa Joe, I guess, and just walked away because they had that one well scouted. They knew that was coming. Jeff goes to the top rope. He's probably doing whisper in the wind. Let's walk away. It's the best defense for that. So then Devon and Bubba, they gave Jeff the "What's up?" early. I laughed. Missed that move. So then he did the Devon get the tables, which was great. Dudleys gave Jeff a 3D through the table. So the Dudleys are on the scoreboard 1-0. Now, how does one theoretically win a tables match? You got to put both opponents through the tables. So now Jeff is through the table. They put Jeff through the table. Now they have to work to put Matt Hardy through the table. And if they do that, they win the match. Those are the rules of a tables match. Or at least a tag team tables match. Matt came back with a steel chair. Matt was able to send Bubba to the floor. Matt and Devon brawled out to the floor. Devon took too long setting up a table, so Matt caught Devon with a twist of fate. Matt set up Devon for an elbow through the table, but Devon got up and Matt went through the table. Now, Matt went through the table, but Devon did not put him through the table. So this is another rule. It has to be an offensive move done from one team to the other through the table. So Matt put himself through the table. It doesn't count. Match continues. Jeff came back and took out Bubba with a clothesline off the apron. Devon dragged Jeff around to the other side of the ring. Bubba then set up a table in the corner in the ring. Matt dodged a charge from Bully, who bounced into the table, but it did not break. Now, even if he went through the table, it wouldn't have counted. But he didn't go through the table anyway. Devon and Jeff. Devon hit Jeff with a table. Devon climbed the ladder set up in the aisleway, which they did during their entrances, to dive onto Jeff through the table. So Matt intervenes. He climbs up the other side of the ladder, and Devon is up there with him. The Hardys set Devon up on the table. Jeff then climbs the ladder and hits a senton off the top of the ladder. But the thing is, Jeff ascended the ladder and stood at the very top of the ladder and undershot the Swanton Bomb, who then came down and completely missed Devon, went through one of the two tables all by himself, and then on the way down hit his head and the back of his neck on the bottom rung of the ladder. I legitimately thought he was laying there with a broken neck. I legitimately thought that this was the end of Jeff Hardy. I don't know why we need Jeff Hardy jumping off fucking ladders in 2025 like he was when he's 19 years old, but they wanted to give the fans a spectacle for their final match. Scary. Most of Jeff's body went through the table that Devon was not laying on. It's crazy. So now this leaves Matt or Bubba as the last man to eliminate. Back in the ring, the Hardys go after Bubba with steel chair shot. They set up another table. Jeff held Bubba open for some chair shots from Matt. But when Matt threw the chair, Bubba ducked and hit Jeff. Bubba tried to powerbomb Jeff through the table. Matt moved. Hardys regained the advantage here. Jeff hit Bubba with a Swanton Bomb. Hardys hit Bubba with more chair shots. Devon was done, so Bubba was all by himself. Bubba gets up. He struggled to get to his feet. He looked down. He looked sad. He looked defeated. He gave off his body language as, I'm done. I concede. I'm waving the white towel. I'm waving my white Dudley glasses. I'm finished. They threw their chairs down, did the Hardys. Bubba offered no resistance to anything here. He just stood there. Hardys grabbed him. Double Hardy Uranage through the final table. And they end not only their 25-year feud, but the career of the Dudleys is now over. After the match, Carlos Silva presented the Hardys with their tag team championships. Hardys held Bubba to his feet. Devon got back into the ring. All four men shared a very emotional embrace in the middle of the ring. The crowd chanted, "Thank you, Dudleys." Hardys were about to leave. The Dudleys pulled them back into the ring. The Dudleys then decided to take their wrestling boots off in the middle of the ring, signaling the end of their in-ring careers, and handed the boots to the Hardy Boys. And Jeff clearly crying over this emotional moment. Both teams hugged once again. The Dudleys walked away, and it was their last time walking off into the sunset. You know, I'm very lucky to have been around to watch both teams in the absolute prime of their career. There will never be another Hardys. There will never be another Dudleys. Tag team wrestling is just not the same in the current generation of pro wrestling. It's not. There'll never be another Dudleys. There'll never be another Hardys. They don't make them like they do anymore, like these teams anymore. They don't make them like they used to. The only team that we still have left that's cut from that cloth, and he's an asshole, but I gotta respect what he's done for the business, is FTR, Dax and Cash. Legitimately, and the Usos. Edge and Christian are still around too, but for how long, I don't know. In what capacity as a tag team, I don't know. They don't make them like that anymore. So I'm very lucky, I'm sure you guys are as well listening to me, that we got the Hardys and the Dudleys and the opportunity to watch them for 25 years. And I mean, I'm forever grateful that we still, in some capacity, have the Hardys the way we have them in 2025. They are still the most prominent tag team in the business. It's crazy. This was tremendous. The match itself was fine. I wasn't expecting a fucking FTR Briscoes classic here. But the post-match was great, and we owe a lot to both of these teams. They are a part of all of our childhoods. How could we not? Two of the greatest teams in the history of pro wrestling, and there will never be another two teams like the Dudleys and the Hardys. Ever. Main event. Mike Santana and Trick Williams for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. This was a long, winding road to get here. Not going to go over it all, but Slammiversary had Mike Santana in New York City, failed to capture the championship when he wrestled Trick Williams and Joe Hendry in a triple threat match. To me, he should have won it there. I don't know why they didn't pull the trigger there. It was New York. It's Mike Santana. It goes hand in hand. So there was a back and forth. Trick Williams, he called for an injury. And apparently, Williams hired a lawyer, and he came out to blast TNA management for what he believes is improper working conditions. And he said he would not go on to defend his title for the next 50 days because he's injured. Santino came out and realized that Bound for Glory was after the 50-day threshold, and then tried to make Williams' next title defense for the event, but was interrupted by his lawyer that he hired. So Marella began declaring that Williams would defend the TNA World Championship against Santana at Bound for Glory. We were coming up on NXT Homecoming. So Grayson Waller hosted his Grayson Waller effect with Obafemi, the then NXT champion, and Ricky Saints. They were interrupted by Trick Williams, who wanted an NXT championship match, but cried injury, and he couldn't defend the TNA championship for 50 days. So Waller proposed a winner-take-all match between Obafemi and Trick Williams for the following week on NXT, with both titles on the line, which both men agreed to, and it was made official. The winner of that match would wrestle Ricky Saints for the title, or both titles, at No Mercy. Now, that match ended in a no contest after interference from Santana and other TNA wrestlers who invaded invaded the Performance Center for NXT Homecoming, confirming that Santana would be facing Williams at Bound for Glory. That's how we got here. Now, the match itself was fine. I'm not the biggest Trick Williams fan, but to deny that Trick Williams has it is an understatement. The guy has got it. I just wish at some point he would tie it up in the ring, though he did not look bad here tonight. Well, he's in the ring with Mike Santana, so he shouldn't look bad. Trick Williams has every possible thing you would want for a WWE superstar. He looks the part, he sounds the part. He's a very good promo. Looks the part, sounds the part. He's got the theme music. I mean, the aura is off the charts here. Santana found Conan in the crowd. Conan, who was a big part of Santana's career, walked him to the ring. Before the introduction, Santana got his. Williams grabbed the house mic from the ring announcer, and he told Santana that he would beat his ass like the Boston Red Sox. That's the way to get heat here. So he did his own ring announcement. 6'4", 250 pounds, just kind of glazing himself. Santana cut him off and punched him right in the face. The match did not officially begin. They brawl on the floor and into the crowd, and the match is still not officially underway. So Williams tried to use a trash can on Santana. That backfired, and he would end up covered in trash. They brawled back to the ring. Santana dumped Williams on the ring apron with a back suplex. Santana started celebrating, and this gave Williams an opening to hit Santana with the title belt. So at this point, Santana is, I believe, bleeding. Now, back in the ring, the referee finally started the match. Trick Williams hit the trick kick, got a near fall. Williams followed that up with a DVD, went for another cover. Williams dropped Santana with a flapjack. Williams hit a spin kick and then a jumping neck breaker for another near fall. Williams hit Santana with a backhand, which only fired up Santana, but Santana charged at Williams and got backdropped on the floor. Santana started bleeding at this point, not at the point I just mentioned. Not with the belt shot. On the floor, Santana went headfirst into the ring post, and he came up bloodied, and Williams then slammed him on the floor. Williams tried to drive the steel stairs into Santana. He got out of the way and moved. Santana hit a Superman forearm. Williams backdropped Santana onto the steel steps, which looked nasty. Still on the floor, Williams whips Santana into the barricade. And then he goes over to Santana's daughter, who's watching behind the commentary team in the front row. And Williams makes mention that even Santana's daughter doesn't like him. And he starts yelling at her, "I'm your daddy now. Who's your daddy?" She slapped Trick, rather. And she got pissed at Trick for kind of belittling her. Stunned, Williams backed into Santana as he delivered a tope. We go back into the ring. Santana caught Williams with a powerbomb for a near fall. Santana went to the top again. We got dueling Santana-Williams chants, which is why I said they should have did it in New York. It was very pro-Santana there. Here it was more of a 50-50 crowd. And when he was announced from the Bronx, he got audible boos. Nobody in Boston is going to cheer somebody from the fucking Bronx. It's ridiculous. So, powerbomb on Williams, near fall. Santana went to the top. Dueling Santana-Williams chants. Santana, a beautiful 450 splash. If you guys don't know, Santana is very athletic for a guy his size. Trick Williams' lawyer came out to distract Santana. Santana went for a discus lariat. Trick Williams ducked it, hit a pair of Uranages. Williams went to the top. Santana caught him. Williams battled through, drove Santana to the mat with an avalanche Uranage, which looked great. Trick went for a cover, got a near fall. Trick then, desperate, grabs the title belt, went for a wild swing, which looked like comedy. Santana ducked and rolled up Williams for two. After some counters back and forth, Santana hit the discus lariat, which he calls spin the block. He only got a 2 count. The lawyer then got up on the apron. I don't know his name. He got up on the apron. Santana pulled him into the ring. He gave him spin the block. Williams caught Santana with a trick shot. Only got a 2. Santana crawled to his feet, looking up at his daughter in the crowd. Williams charged for another trick kick. Santana ducked, blocked the Uranage, hit a flying lariat. Finally, hit spin the block on Trick Williams. 1, 2, 3, and Mike Santana is the new TNA champion and finally brings the TNA Championship back to TNA. Carlos Silva walked in with the belt to hand it to Mike Santana. Nic Nemeth came out to cash in that stupid fucking contract with the goddamn ugly-looking dollar store trophy that he got. Puts it down on the floor in the aisleway. Lights go out. Lights come back up. Elias is in the crowd, or in the aisleway, behind Nemeth. Took him out with a guitar shot. Frankie Kazaarian's in the ring behind Mike Santana, who tried to cash in but couldn't because he didn't have the fucking trophy with him because Nic Nemeth left it in the aisleway. Santana took him out with the spin the block lariat. And then finally, Carlos Silva handed the TNA Championship to Mike Santana, who then handed it to his daughter to celebrate in the ring. None of what we got after the match was over needed to happen. But Mike Santana being handed the title from Carlos Silva, who then handed it to his daughter. That's it. Why do we need to overcomplicate things? Why do we need to sit there and overbook things? This guy got one opportunity to make that moment emotional, and you fucking gave me Nic Nemeth and Frankie Kazaarian and fucking Elias. What are we doing? This is why I can't watch this show. If this is what we do here, I can't watch this weekly. Man, you guys would get the worst version of me. Seriously. There are things I like. There are things I don't like. I don't like fucking the fans over with Javon Evans and Leon Slater. And I certainly don't like taking a special moment that should be kept special by doing overbooked fucking garbage booking, such as this. Head-scratching decisions here. This was a very good show, outside of the bullshit that I called out. Well worth the $40. Mike Santana, incredibly happy and incredibly proud for him. Leon Slater and Javon Evans, match of the night and maybe the match of the year. And that was your TNA Bound for Glory 2025. There you go. Thank you guys for a great stream. We had upwards towards 1,800 people in here for a fucking TNA review, man. I didn't expect that, but Thank you guys very much for all of your support. Tonight we are sponsored by Rex MD. We're going to give way to them. I'm going to take a sip of my cold beverage here, and I'll be back with you in about 90 seconds. Thank you to my sponsor tonight for this TNA Bound For Glory 2025 post show. Tonight, sponsored by my great friends over at Rex MD. Wrestling fans, let's be honest, man. Every legend eventually comes back for one more run. It's pro wrestling. You know that, and I know that. But in real life, sometimes you need a little help making that big comeback. That's where Rex MD steps in. Look, millions of men deal with ED every single year. It's not a heel turn, it's just reality. The problem is nobody wants to sit in a waiting room or cut a promo about it to a doctor in person. That's where Rex MD takes all of that away. It's 100% online, discreet, and the meds are FDA approved. No awkward conversations, no pharmacy trips, just fast, private delivery right to your front door. All you do is take a short quiz about your health history and goals. A U.S. licensed medical provider reviews it, and if it's right for you, your treatment ships in just 2 days. It's like getting booked in the main event without having to leave gorilla position. My two favorite things about Rex MD, number one, the discretion. Comes in a private packaging, so it feels like getting a surprise merch box. And the empowerment, man. You're back in control. You're confident and ready when the bell rings. That's something every champion needs. So don't put your love life on hold. Take back control today and get started with Rex MD and get up to 95% off ED treatment right now by visiting rexmd.com/JD from NY, or just simply scan the QR code that you guys see on screen right now. See full details and usage at rexmd.com. Prescription is required. Results may vary. Confidence starts here, fellas, with Rex MD, and I want to thank Rex MD for sponsoring the show right here on Off the Script. Thank you guys for a great stream. Gonna get into your super chats in just a second, but please follow me on social media. Please take the time to do that. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. And please go check out all the other content on the channel. There's plenty of it. We'll be live tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw. Tuesday Night Titans goes back to its normal night on Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Jason and I, the Solid Monster, and I will talk about this and Crown Jewel and whatever else is happening in the world of pro wrestling. The best two-man post show in the business. Solid Monster and JD on Tuesday Night Titans. And please leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought of tonight's Bound for Glory. Let's get into your super chats here. We're going to start off with, if YouTube gives me the list of super chats here, which there's always a fucking problem over here, man. Michael Krause, as always. Michael's always the first seated at the venue. Which, by the way, it's a venue and not a tiki bar. Only poors drink at a tiki bar. You won't catch me dead drinking a drink with a fucking plastic paper umbrella. And a fake cherry. Only poors drink at a tiki bar. If you know, you know. My eyes are everywhere, bro. Michael Krause, JDOTS Sunday stream. Let's go, TNA. Yeah. Best in the world, Matt, with a $5 super chat. Hardy Boys being belt collectors is greater than Mercedes being a belt collector. A rare treat from JD today. Thank you for covering this. OTS for life. What the hell is a tiki bar? That's a good question. It's a good question. When other creators, fake reactors, when all they got is to disparage the work of Deviate Designs and then want to cry that they're in debt when the designs that the fine team that I put together and hired to do my work, well, I didn't really put them together, but the fine team that I gladly work with, I don't know why out of all things you would disparage the designs. I mean, that's a little bizarre. I don't know. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. All of these designs that you see on the show, They probably cost more than all of those people who make in a single year making YouTube content. And I find it funny how you know, they do this in front of a review that did like 900 views. It's crazy. I mean, if one is gonna talk shit, I mean, at least have the fucking numbers to back it up, man. Holy fucking shit, man. Oh man, comedy. It's comedy in this community, bro. It's comedy. Comedy. It's crazy. There's nothing wrong with the pores, brother. Sip that beverage. Bro, if I'm not paying $25 for a fucking cocktail made by somebody with a curly mustache, bro, it ain't for me. I got fucking taste. And I got quality to uphold. The finest of whiskeys with the proper ice. Clear ice. Sphered or squared. When you order an old-fashioned and you know that they use the proper protocol to make an old-fashioned with the proper ice, you know you're in the right place. When they make an old-fashioned with fucking ice straight out of their fucking refrigerator or freezer, you know that the establishment is a piece of garbage. I also don't drink in a bar where others sip Coors Light, Budweiser, Yingling. I mean, that's just straight fucking trailer garbage. That's trailer trash right there. The only Americanized beer I will have is Guinness. That's it. And people still pour that the fucking wrong way. I remember I went to my favorite bar in New York City's Peculiar Pub. I used to make fun of people, man. I used to people watch. Guy's fucking sitting in a beer with 700 fucking bottles available to him. He orders a fucking Miller Lite. I'm like, bro, you're in the wrong fucking place, man. There's a place down the street you can go for that, man, where the poors go to drink. Fuck out of here. Anyway. Somebody asked me if I like Death Angel in the chat. I do. They're not on my list of top thrash bands, but I like some Death Angel. For sure. Listen, man, I deserve to have good taste, man. I work my ass off to have and afford good taste. Charles with a $10 super chat. Became a huge fan of Santana LAX during WrestleCon 2019. These dudes were on almost every show. Love to see someone bet on themselves and it pays off. Absolutely. Listen, guys, if all you could afford is a Yingling, bro, I'm not going to disparage you. I'm just telling you where I go and what I do. Arcade the Hedgehog with a $5 super chat. JD, I was watching Scooby-Doo WrestleMania Mystery. So I was wondering, does Justice League, Scooby-Doo, and WWE all take place in the same universe? It might be. Reggie? Ro? Listen, man, the only time I will ever accept drinking a poor beer like a Miller Lite or whatever, beer-flavored piss, is if I'm at a family junction or party of sorts, and that's all they have readily available. But I would hope that at least if you want to go the boring route with beer, that maybe have Stella available. Maybe. You know, I think Miller Lite is the #1 selling beer in the United States now because Budweiser and Coors Light, they wanted to go woke, so fuck them. You know, when when one of them wanted to have Dylan Mulvaney drinking beer, I mean, it'd drive everybody away, bro. No wonder Miller Lite's #1 now. Or Corona. I'll take a Corona. But I'm not going to be sitting in a tiki bar drinking a Corona. I'm going to have my feet buried in the sand somewhere while I sit on a fucking beach in a lounge chair under an umbrella. 2 limes, please. Chris with a $4.99. Remember the good old days of JD laughing like crazy when TNA was mentioned. Now they are on the number 2 promotion above AEW. Great show as always. Yeah. Well, they were on the shit list. They've come a long way. You could thank Tony Khan for that. Sidro with the 37 months. Why did 2 stoners start dating? Because love's a higher calling. And paid $300 to rent a limo, but didn't include the driver. All that money and nothing to show for it. Let me at him! Let me at him, Scoob! Sidro with a $10 super chat. NASA's launching a new space mission to say sorry to the aliens. They're calling it the Apollo G. Oh, man. You got it. I think Jason, I think that one will crack Jason on Tuesday, bro. Ask the librarian for any books on amplifiers. She said yes. What volume would you like? Yeah, Blue Moon. Nah, Blue Moon is too trendy, bro. Now, Blue Moon is too trendy. Sidro with a 5. She says, it's a guy's duty to pay the bill at a restaurant. That's why it's called menu. Nah, it's both our responsibility. That's why it's called menu. Sidro with a 2. Someone keeps sending me celery. Think I'm being stalked. Sidro with a 2 for TK. It's never a clothesline, only an open line. The Fired Devon Wrestling. I'm going to a GCW show on November 22nd. JD, have you ever been to a GCW show? Anyone know what I can expect? Yeah, I went to the Atlantic City show at the Showboat where Matt Cardona beat Nick Gage and ran out of the building because he was about to get fucking stabbed. Yeah, I was there for that because I got an apartment right there by Showboat. Captain Solo with a $5 super chat. Kelani Jordan looks like one of those generic wrestlers you would fight in the Performance Center during the Mind Rise portion of WWE 2K. Yeah. Yeah. Basically what she is. Baby Shaq, 41 months. Thank you, Baby Shaq. Phil with 46 months. Hope you're doing well, brother. So happy for Mike Santana. The man becomes champ after all the battles he's gone through. Always knew the talent he had, and now he's the face of TNA. I agree, brother. True Crime Unleashed with a $5 super chat. Nic Nemeth has recently stated he wants nothing to do with the TNA WWE partnership, so he will not show up on NXT. Quote Nick, WWE can go to hell. Sounds like a gimmick or storyline to me. Yes, My Rise would be a good sponsor for Blue Chew. Yeah. Sidro with a $10 super chat. Man shouts to his wife, come here and look at my clock. She walks in to find him naked with a heart on. She says, "That's not a clock." He says, "It will be when you put two hands and a face on it." Oh my God, man. You gotta repeat that one. You gotta repeat that one on Tuesday. Oh, man. True Crime Unleashed with a $5 super chat. Nic Nemeth also stated in the same interview, if you get over with the crowd organically, you are punished. You're not over with the crowd unless they say so. Well, I mean, nobody would know that better than Nic Nemeth. Phil with a $4.99. The last table match was for those four men. Sure, people shit on the match, but Bully and Devon wanted to go out on their own terms, and they did just like that. Listen, it was fine for what it was, bro. Fine for what it was. You Fluke with a $1.99. Have you seen The Exorcist? I have. I don't plan on watching it again. Sidro with a $5. If Trick Williams ever gets lice, he could say, "Whoop that tick." New character and gimmick. Tick Williams. Oh, man. Yes, Tick Williams. Batman! I'm the Batman. Where is he? $19.99. God bless you, bro. Gesundheit. Thank you, Batman. Caden Crawford with a $1.99. Do you call Trick up now, JD? Maybe. Maybe Rumble time. Point Dexter with a 4 months. Hey, JD, what are your thoughts on Trick Williams now? Is he ready for the main roster or not? Probably. Yeah, I call him up. SmackDown. Put him on SmackDown. Captain Solo with a $2 super chat. Did I miss anybody? Let me go back and check. I think I might have missed somebody. Allison Tuckwab with 2 months. Yes, I did miss somebody. Do you think Tony Khan's business, or will he go on a business? I want them to survive. Will he start running the company like a business? No, Allison. No, he won't. He's already killed the business. He's already killed the business. And Captain Solo says, before we get out of here with a $2 super chat, how would you rate One as a Metallica song? One is a great song. Overplayed, but it's a great song. And Justice for All is a great album. I love Blackened. Actually, I like Blackened more than I do One. And I like Harvester of Sorrow better than I do One. Thank you guys for a great stream, man. I had a great time tonight. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. You guys are awesome. We had 1,800 people in here for a TNA show. And we hit the 700 likes goal. 750 likes. You guys are great. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw. I will not be watching Raw. I will not be watching Raw at 8 a.m. I'll leave that to the fucking rest of the amateurs in the community who don't know any better. Thank you guys very much, man. Let me leave my tiki bar and jump in my fake CGI Mustang that is really my Mustang, and the exact car that sits underneath me in the garage right now as we suffer through a nor'easter here on the East Coast. Thank you guys for a great stream. Congratulations to Mike Santana once again. Javon Evans and Leon Slater. Match of the year, possibly match of the year. We'll talk about it again on Tuesday night with Tuesday Night Titans and the Solid Monster. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Make sure you guys go and check out all the great content on the channel. Again, I will be live tomorrow night, and I will be watching Monday Night Raw at 8 p.m. on Netflix. And we'll be going live at 11 p.m. here on YouTube. Capiche? Capiche. Thank you guys for the great stream. Again, TNA Bound for Glory in the books. I enjoyed myself tonight. And we'll see you right back here with a brand new week of content right here on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.